Let's bring on multiple studios and work on multiple projects. Which I heard that's
Oh
what they're doing
shit.
anyways.
Hang on.
I've heard rumors of all kinds of stuff.
I
We
better.
don't need the live stream. Fuck it, we won't do it live.
I don't know why it just did that. All right.
Yeah, Plane Reach is much better than Infinite Rabble.
Yeah.
I agree,
Yeah.
but it's just
It really does.
the we haven't given up on Halo. I've given up on Microsoft and 343 ever being able to do something competent. And the problem is all this restructuring they're doing, they're still going to be in charge. They're still making all the final decisions and they're still going to have many of the same problems. They refuse to change. I mean, look how many games they've done now where they just refuse to go back to the core of Halo. We thought they were going to do it with Infinite in early days in the beta and all the rumors and stuff we'd seen earlier. We really thought that they were going to go back uh, and make a Halo that felt more like the old Halos, but they just didn't. It's still a modern shooter with a Halo skin.
I think one of the things that just kind of blow my mind with the fact that it is. Remember when we were like really big into Splitgate? You
Yeah,
know that that felt more like Halo than Halo had felt in a decade.
yeah, because it was just fun. Now I've always been a competitive player, but they're trying to make Halo too competitive. They're focused so much on competitive, the game's not fun to play. It's not enjoyable.
Right.
They're still doing the same things that we've been saying forever. They try to focus on competitive, but force it to also work for casuals, and then neither enjoy it. Like every map having how the new spawns work, where where the weapons go in the little weapon locker or whatever.
Right.
It limits how many weapons are on maps. So like, there's not a ton of stuff to go for anymore. So you'll have this map where it's just like two commandos and like two maulers and then a rocket launcher. That's all that's on the whole map.
Right.
The rocket launcher only comes up once every 3 minutes. The maulers and the commandos are up, every minute and a half or whatever it is after it's picked up. Like, that's not fun. It's a competitive layout that you're trying to push on casuals that the competitive people don't even want. Like 99% of the competitive community that I follow on Twitter does not like the stupid weapon lockers. They want to go back to weapon spawns and especially having their own weapon choices that they'd rather have instead of being forced to sometimes use a commando or sometimes use an AR or this or that. The same argument they've been having since fucking Halo 4 with loadouts, and then Halo 5 when they forced them to use pistols and AR for competitive mode.
Well, it comes back to what we've been saying that would make a big difference in fixing Halo would be to separate out the casuals and the sweaties.
Yeah.
It worked great.
Or
It worked great in Halo 3, but the counter to that is, if you go to all the trouble of separating out your sweaties and your casuals, you're not going to have much of a population anymore because you don't have a lot of population to begin with.
yeah.
You know.
Well, and we've talked about that too, how they didn't have playlists at the beginning, so everyone got bored of playing the two modes that they had that already weren't fun, and that now they'll never have the population to support more playlists.
And it's just this like snowballing effect of, okay, they didn't have it in the beginning, so they've lost their player base and they need the player base to create more game types, but then you need more players to play those game types so you can create more interest in making more play or game
Yeah.
types. And it's just this never ending like two steps
Well, and it
forward
didn't
or one step forward, two steps back.
it didn't have Forge, and I know Forge has only been with Halo since Halo 3.
Right.
It's not at the core of Halo. But what Halo 1 and Halo 2 had, uh, well, especially back in the day, the reason it was fun, the the game was set up very well to be a party shooter. Everyone come over to Jason's house. Fucking 16 of us are gonna hook up and play the shit out of fucking Blood Gulch or something.
Right.
And it was fun as shit because you're all in each other's house. Halo 3 moving more to online had the benefit of Bungie was smart enough, well, whether it was an accident or they're just, one of the best developers around. I mean, look at their success with Destiny. Even as upset as we are with how that went, still successful. They made Forge, which took, all right, now how do we make it fun for people only playing online? You don't have that benefit of being in people's houses and screaming, oh, fucking got you, and that extra factor of what makes
Right.
it enjoyable, a good, fun experience. So they had Forge, and that made a whole new thing. Now we're having parties online where we're all gathering up and playing silly, ridiculous customs and Forge maps and all this stuff, and it's a fucking blast. I forget who said it originally. Was it Frankie? No. Who was it that I forget? We talked about it a few episodes ago. One of the main creators on the original Halo is from Bungie. I can't remember if it was Frankie or not. I don't remember, but he said Halo is a party shooter, and that's literally what it is. Halo's been fun because it was made to be fun, and right away with Halo 4, they started to get away from that. They're like, let's make it a competitive Call of Duty type
Right.
arena shooter and get away from the fun and get away from the Forge. I'm pretty sure Forge was delayed with Halo 4, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
I know 1000% it was with Halo 5, but I couldn't remember back to Halo 4 if Forge wasn't in
I
there.
think I think it was, but it wasn't delayed long. I mean, I
It
think
was
the
only like a month or
yeah,
two,
I
I
would say
think.
I think the game came out around election day, and by the beginning of the year, it was basically all that you were going to get minus new DLC
Yeah,
and
but
stuff like that.
it people still played it because it was still fun. It was different. It wasn't the Halo feel, but it was enjoyable. And having Forge at the beginning while you still had a player count and giving people the ability to make their own maps and customs and stuff, we had some good times playing customs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Then with Halo 5, they went further into competitive, and they thought in their mind that forcing even more competitive and casuals to play the exact same thing and delay Forge even more. If I remember right, it was like 6 months delayed with Halo 5, I believe.
I don't think I made it that long playing it.
Yeah, and now here we are in Halo Infinite. It was a full year after initial release that Forge is out. Like they just don't understand. That'd be like Mario Party, right? Nintendo announces, "Hey, the new Mario Party's coming out. It's gonna be a good time." Oh, by the way, right now you can only use the main menu, and you can only play the mini games. That we don't have any of the boards out right now. You can't use the boards or play the game how it's meant to be played, or the core of what it is.
Right.
We know you understand what Mario Party is, but we promise when it comes out, it's going to be so good. It's going to be the best version that we've ever had, and you're going to have the ability to make your own boards. It's going to be so fun. Uh, like Nintendo's smart enough to realize if they do that, nobody will buy it, and by the time they release and update that fucking thing to give you the ability to play, what it is, the identity of Mario Party, there would be no players left to support the update.
Right.
Just how Halo is. They're
Yep.
again only hit like 2,000 concurrent players on Steam. I don't have a way to look at the Xbox numbers because Microsoft doesn't publish that.
Yeah, they hide that pretty well.
It has 2,000 viewers on Twitch right now, but so does D&D, so does podcasts. Like there's nobody watching it, nobody's interested in it. It's they fucked up. We the hard part is like it's so simple. It's literally everything comes back to it's just a party shooter that needs to be fun. We always blame like, oh, it's the sprint or this or that. They're completely missing the basic point of it needs to be a party shooter.
Right.
It needs to be Mario Party with guns. It needs to be fun as fuck to go to my buddy's house and hook four of us up on one Xbox, or it needs to be fun as fuck hooking 16 of us up online. And right now, you can kind of do that. I mean, again, we're a year after release and there's so little interest in it. There's some cool stuff coming out of Forge, but again, there's no playlist for it. There's no.
No.
The only way is like for Bunge to hit us all up, which he's hit me up several times. He's run some custom nights, but I'm just I just don't want to play the game. It's not fun.
Well,
Like,
it really has lost its flavor.
yeah.
It
And
really,
again,
really
and
has lost
again,
its
that
flavor.
not only is interest not there, when I do log in and we're playing party games and whatever, when the game crashes and when melees don't count and shots don't count, any little bit of what I would have fun is now no longer fun. It's a frustrating experience.
Yep.
Even when we're playing bullshit made up games, the game is not ready. It's not finished. It's super buggy and it's not fucking fun.
Nope.
It's
No.
just
It's.
unfortunate. I don't know.
I don't think there's a solution.
No,
And
not for Infinite. I don't even know for another Halo. I don't know.
well, see, that's the problem. Is that Infinite was supposed to be their 10-year program. You know,
Yeah, it's
it was supposed to have 10 years of content, and if we have to wait a year to get Forge, what the fuck are we going to get next year this time? Like, what's going to be like? Are we going to get? Uh,
well,
is that when we'll
well they
finally get like ranked in social, or is that when we'll finally get um, player or community generated playlist? Do we have to
yeah,
wait that long to get? You know, it's just not good when you have to wait that long, and then you have to re-hype your community, and
yeah.
that's the next problem is if you don't if you don't continuously keep your player base engaged, they're gonna go find something else to play.
Well, and they don't engage their community. Again, they
Yeah,
stay silent. They don't tell us what's going on. They don't tell us what's coming. They won't come out and go, "Yeah, we fucked up." Literally, play it if you want. It's not going to be good for like a year. Let's just if they just came out and said that,
yeah,
said we're working on things. It is going to suck for like a year. We really want it to be good. We're going to do a big release. We're going to put
yeah.
a pause on battle passes and seasons. That you can play the game if you want. We're going to leave it online, but we're going to really overhaul and work on the back end. Get Forge released. We're going to make a bunch of new playlists and just like that's the only way you ever get attention again. You can't do all these small little patches where you barely change anything,
No,
especially when they're every 6 months and you barely change anything.
yeah, that too.
You
But
might as well wait. Fucking, they have to do kind of what they did with Master Chief Collection. Just let it, you know,
let it fester like a wound that's just not healing.
yeah, let it fester, let it suck for fucking 5 years when everyone's forgot. Then all of a sudden release a really big update, completely change how the game works and everything about it, and maybe you'll get some players back. I mean, we've
Well,
said it 1,000 times, and I
I
feel like
think
we need to stop beating a dead horse. But hey, I don't think Halo will ever be back.
I think the other problem that they're facing now is an aging population of players.
Yeah,
They like I said earlier, they have a limited amount of time that they can play. They want to get the most bang for their buck, and fucking nobody's playing it. I mean,
yeah,
everybody's moved on to something else.
yeah.
They're
Well, you
playing.
have like us old people that play 1 or 2 hours a day, and you have the new crowd that they play a lot, but you'll never compete with Fortnite or Roblox or Minecraft, or you'll never be able to compete with them as
No,
Halo.
no, not as Halo. I mean, there's nothing there that's going to. There's nothing about Halo that is going to speak to the younger generation. Nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I don't
Halo
think
came.
so.
Halo came about during a time when there was really nothing out there like it, and it was just like the perfect storm, perfect timing of what gaming could be. Now
Yeah,
today you've got all these other amazing multiplayer games that just blow Halo out of the water, blow most multiplayer games out of the water. I mean,
yeah,
there's being a gamer today. There's so much to choose from that you really have to be the cream to be to be good to be played.
yeah. Well,
You
and
know,
it's weird that like 343 and Microsoft keep making this weird uh, choices. All right, so let's look at Fortnite. Right, I'll give you two categories,
okay,
and I feel like every game I'm going to give you is blatantly obvious what it is. But I'll give you two categories:
okay,
competitive or casual, just fucking giggle fun.
okay.
What would you say Fortnite is? Competitive or casual fun?
Oh, I mean, not anymore. I see more competitive people playing it than I do casual people, but that's me.
Yeah, but they're making fun content.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
it's completely focused on fun and nonstop events and ridiculous licensed skins, and it's all
that's
about being
a
fun. They're not as focused on the competitive side. They have tournaments run every single day and every single weekend, so it's competitive, but they're focused on the fun of it.
well that and they because they have all these different skins of literally everything. You know, kids love it. You know,
Yeah,
there's kids playing this game all the time. Um,
I guess
alongside,
that's how I should have put it. Who's their target audience?
yeah,
Kids or adults?
kids. It's
Or
designed to be
adults that
that
are
way.
streamers that are still kids at heart.
Well,
Like Ninja and all them, they have a good time and they shit talk and
I watched him play. He streams on TikTok too, and
yeah.
I noted I saw it yesterday. He popped up in my feed a couple of times, and he was playing, and the game it doesn't look better or look different, but it feels so much different than it was when it first came out.
Oh, it's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it too. I don't know if we'll talk about it now. We'll talk about it
No.
in a second. It's a whole new thing with the season they just released because they moved everything to Unreal Engine 5. So the first game, I believe, that's on Unreal Engine 5. And it looks completely different because now they're on the Lumen system with nanites and just the lighting and everything looks amazing, even on consoles. Like, but all right, so let's say like Apex.
Okay.
Are you focused on competitive adults or are you focused on fun, casual for
That's
12-year-olds?
yeah. That's definitely an adult style game.
Yeah, that's completely
Hmm.
competitive. Like, that's very obvious. That's not for something to get on for 30 minutes a day and have a good time laughing.
Mm-mm. No.
You're not going to have
30.
a good time.
Yeah. 30 minutes a day will get you one game if you do well.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
uh, now here's the here's the weird one. Uh, Call of Duty, the new one. I feel like you almost have multiple modes that you could say cover multiple different variations.
Well, just like you know, I would say I would put Call of Duty with that logic. I would put it in the same category as say Overwatch.
Yeah,
Overwatch has a very there's a very distinct separation between the sweaties of Overwatch and the casuals of Overwatch. And once
yeah,
again, they've created two separate playlists, play modes, call it what you want, where you know what you're getting into when you go into ranked versus
hmm
wanting to play casually.
yeah,
And that's something that Call of Duty here seems like it's doing well.
yeah. Well, they have DMZ, which you can totally play casually and log on for 15 minutes and play one game if you want, but it's not super competitive. It can get sweaty, but for the most part, not really. You just kind of get unlucky and mad. But it's
Yeah.
not like super sweaty. Not like the multiplayer, and especially not like Warzone. Warzone's a weird middle ground because the SBMM is so. I think it's just purely competitive. You could try and play it casually, but I think you're pushing Apex again. But yeah, like you're saying, Overwatch. They're smart enough to realize, all right, we're not one or the other, but we can't put these people together. We can't have the dad that's taking care of his kids in the house and his job, logging in for an hour and trying to get money from him. Number one, they did a good job making the new one free to play. That's smart. It's unfortunate that literally you can't buy anything for less than $25.
That's also true.
But yeah, like you said, they're smart. This is the competitive side. If you want to do that, you can go for it. But this is the casual side. You can literally log on Overwatch and have a pretty decent time. Just
Hmm.
you know, depending what map and what mode you get, you might get some sweaties. But for the most part, you can just kind of casually play it.
Well,
And
what I noticed about it last night, we I played with a group last night that
yeah,
that ranged from ultra casual, excuse me. They're just there for their friends. They're not that good, and they don't really care. It's more about I'm having fun with my friends. To I feel like I get pretty sweaty when I play Overwatch. Like I watch, I do watch the videos on how to play certain characters, and you know places that you can do this or do that on maps, and
Yeah.
if there's a competitive game, if there's a game out there that I want to play competitively, it would be Overwatch, because I really like that game. So we had everything from one to the other, both sides of the gambit, and we had a complete party of five
Yeah.
people of all different varying skill types, and we probably won. We won more than we lost.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we're doing better than 50%.
But you're
And
still having a good time,
yeah,
right?
and we're having a great time doing it. Even the people that aren't playing that well, or don't have a full handle on the game, or in some cases like the people were doing last night, they were trying out new characters. They were like,
Yeah.
oh, I've not played this guy, let me try this person out. And we were still doing okay, we were still holding our own, and we had some really good games where we absolutely pooped on the other team. um and then
Yeah.
there was like one or two games that we got a little pooped on. But that's something I think Overwatch does really well, and it appears on the surface that Call of Duty is doing really well. Is they're taking both their, you know, their both their side and both facets of their player base, and giving something for everyone to play, and
Yeah.
that's something that, beating the horse. That's something that Halo just it can't do. It doesn't have enough player base for it to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, that's the hard part. I mean, they could have done it from the beginning again, but I feel like it's so easy to define to the difference while you're playing. Maybe not as from the developer side. It might be harder to separate and say what is fun or not. I feel like from the player side, it's so easy to say what's competitive and what's casual. I feel like if you can get on and you're not really like sweating and like calling out, you might be calling out and be like, oh, he's on the roof or whatever, but you're not. That's not 100% of your conversation. You might be talking about the pizza you had the other day,
Mm-hmm.
or the post you saw on Facebook about what Kanye said, or
Mm-hmm.
fucking, and you're just kind of laughing and playing along, and then every now and then, oh, on me, but
Yeah.
for the most part, you just kind of it's a social gathering that you're just all playing the same thing at the same time. But and it still sucks to lose, and it's still fun to win. But that's not really the focus of it. The focus of it is
The
the
friends you
the
made
social
along the way.
aspect. Yeah, it's harder to enjoy games casually by yourself because of that.
Yeah.
Because you're missing the social aspect, and you're trying to just get on for 20 minutes by yourself and
And
have
so,
a good time.
and some people that's all they want to do.
Yeah,
A friend of mine who is an avid gamer, um, has no desire to play online. He's
yeah.
like,
Well, and then there's the games for you though.
yeah,
You don't play multiplayer game. You play God of
Skyrim.
War or Skyrim
Hmm.
or yeah, they're the
That's
games
his
for that
game of
person.
choice.
Yeah.
Or Minecraft because he's got kids. But
Oh, there you go.
you know, uh, I don't know. Like I just
But Halo doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have that mix, especially with how harsh and how limited their SBMM, their skill-based matchmaking has been from the beginning.
well, when you have such a
Every
small
game you play is fucking a sweat fest, and you're like, I'm just trying to chill. What the?
yeah. Well, I mean, when you have such a small player base, it's your matchmaking pool is going to be incredibly limited. It's
Yeah. Well,
it's
even
no
at the
different
beginning,
than
when they had 200,000 players, it
yeah.
still felt the same. Every game felt fucking sweaty. It's like,
Like I said, I just think it's time to pack it in on Halo for a bit. We'll
and you
probably.
know why everything felt sweaty at the beginning, because we were all ranked the same. So the
Hmm.
social skill-based matchmaking didn't work, and because you had us all in only two playlists, the only choice is for the casuals to go up against the extremely competitive, because the competitive didn't have a separate playlist to be separated from and go play their own thing. Because
And
again, 343 doesn't real. That's if imagine if Overwatch had one playlist and
that'd
they
be
didn't
terrible.
separate their and you every other game would be a fucking nightmare. You'd be getting shit on. You would not be having a good time.
Especially if you're going in with your friends. It would be.
Well, yeah, and it takes the highest ranked player, and just you all get to face that now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that'd be terrible. That would be absolutely terrible, and nobody enjoys that. That's no fun for anybody. Your casuals are getting absolutely shit on, so they're not going to have a good time. Uh, if they're constantly dying, or they're getting outplayed by some. I watched a video earlier today that was on. Um, I can't remember the name of the. I don't know the name of the map, but it's got the hole in the middle, but it's the one that if you fall down it, there's another level, and you have to like come back up to the top. I
In
can't remember.
Overwatch?
In Overwatch, it kind of looks like a library, and in the middle of the map, there's a square area where all the combat, because you have to hold that zone for the however long it takes, and there's a hole in the middle of the map, and it has a if you
Oh, yeah, I know
yeah,
what you're
and if
talking
you,
about.
and if you fall through it, you don't die. You just end up on another level where there's never any combat, because there's nothing ever happens down there. But you have to
Yeah.
make your way up. And the whole purpose of the video was this guy playing Roadhog with his chain, and every time Reinhardt would walk into the room, he'd grab him and throw him in the middle. It was a great strategy because you're taking your biggest tank completely out of the game. Like
Yeah, he has
this
to go
was
all the way back around and come up again.
yeah, and I mean it was equivalent to one shotting him and making him respawn. Like that was that and I don't think he ever died. That's the shitty part. Is this was all one life over the course of probably 10 minutes.
And his
Every
chain probably comes back up by the time he
Oh
comes up
yeah,
again.
yeah, the chain, yeah, exactly. So it's literally by the time he walks back onto the into the room, Roadhog's grabbed him and threw him back into the middle. And I'm sitting here going, okay, this is from a competitive standpoint, from a gaming standpoint, that is extremely effective because your
Yeah.
your biggest best tank is completely invalidated, and meanwhile, not only is the Roadhog able to completely fuck this Reinhardt, he's also able to he's killing other players too. So it eventually becomes basically a 4-on-5 because the
Yeah.
Reinhardt's just not doing anything. So I'm thinking about this. I hope that this is a competitive game because if this is a casual game, I would
The
be
dude's not playing anymore.
no, he's not going to play anymore. Because I mean, but then again, he was also not changing his character. Like he just, like I said, the entire time of the game.
Yeah. Or his strategy.
Yeah, he wasn't changing his strategy. He wasn't changing, his character. He wasn't adjusting to the situation at all. And it's like this has to be so goddamn frustrating. That
Yeah, I bet.
and it could be and this could be a casual that's the only character he knows. That's the only character he likes. He's only on for a few hours a day, if that. So he's like, I want to play some Reinhardt, and then he spends the entire game just getting just trolled.
Yeah.
And that's the way it would be. You would have your sweaties they have no fun because they can't get sweaty because if you're just shitting on every team you play, you're not getting that sweat feeling that you're after. And as a casual, you have no chance of winning. Hell, this Reinhardt didn't even have a chance to play, let
Yeah.
alone a chance to win.
I'm surprised he didn't leave.
Yeah, but no, he stuck it out. Fucking give him credit. I mean,
Well, good on him. That might have been his one game. He was like, I'm gonna hop on and just play one game.
yeah,
And he's
exactly.
like, fuck, I don't want to get off. God damn it, he got me again.
Yeah, and it was just, and I mean, the Roadhog was really good because it didn't matter where Reinhardt came in on the map. It didn't matter if he came on using his shoulder charge or his shield, or it just didn't matter. He was able to. Reinhardt was a complete hard counter. I mean, Roadhog was a complete hard counter to him, and there was just nothing he could do. And I just thinking about that is like, okay, that's fun from the Roadhog side. That made great content. That's a great video. Um,
Well, that's where your skill-based matchmaking comes in. Uh, that I think we pretty much said now that like our stance is we want it, but it needs to be
it needs
reasonable.
it needs to be averaged.
Yeah, it
That's
needs to
that's
be
the
averaged. If you're not in a ranked playlist, it needs to be averaged. Don't take the top guy and put us all against all his skilled players,
well,
unless we're in ranked.
and ranked it's something completely different because ranked already does it right. Say Apex, for example. all of the bronzes play each other, all the diamonds play each other, all the silvers play each other. You know, you don't get masters playing bronzes
Yeah.
because there's
Oh
no,
no, it doesn't happen.
I mean
Apex,
it does.
when you play ranked, which makes sense for ranked. I don't know if there's a way you could do it in casual, but Apex and ranked, I can't even log in with you if you're more than one rank ahead of me.
Right.
If you're two ranks ahead of me, I can't even play with you in ranked.
Right. And that's the way rank should be because it's all about getting better and moving up the line. And
Yeah.
you're
So
not.
yeah, skill is actually,
It means something.
yeah, it means something,
But
but
that's what it.
you
That's
can't do that in casual. But they
no.
need to fix, because you don't want that situation happening with the Reinhardt every time. You don't want him running into people way better. So you need a version of skill based matchmaking,
I
but you can't
think.
make it so strict that
I think
the problem
that.
with Halo is the entire design of Infinite, and it felt like the same in Halo 5. The entire design of their matchmaking system is meant to make every game end at a 4850,
Hmm.
whether it's casual or ranked or not. It's designed to put everyone together to figure out, all right, if I put one Onyx with three silvers, he's gonna have to fucking try his little fucking heart out. But the game's gonna be real close. It's gonna be 50 to 48. They're still gonna lose. The Onyx is gonna lose. But I don't care about that. The game was close, and that was my job. That's their entire algorithm. It's been like that since. I don't think it was as bad in Halo 4. If I remember right, it was much.
And very rarely do
It,
we have close games in Halo 4.
yeah, yeah. It was all over the place. We'd have a roll. We'd get rolled. We'd had some close ones. It was all over the place. There wasn't even a pattern. In Halo 5 and Infinite, there's literally a pattern. If you win by a lot, the next one you're gonna get rolled, and after that you're gonna have 5 games in a row where it's 50 to 48.
And Mystery hits the nail on the head. And I hope he was listening to the podcast earlier when we said that Halo isn't that at all. Halo's a party shooter, and taking that warthog and seeing where in the hell you can stick it is
Yeah,
part of the game. If you are splattering someone, those are that's what makes Halo Halo. So trying to cram a competitive scene into it without separating them is
yeah.
Halo
Well, and
3.
like,
I say Halo 3 did it unbelievably well.
no, it's so fun. And I swear, I had this thought the other day that another problem they changed. I swear the new Halos, the spawn timer is like 8 or 9 seconds, right?
Just something like that.
It, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Halo 2, Halo 3, wasn't it like 3 or 4 seconds?
I think so.
Wasn't it much, much faster and you were back in the action?
You were back in the action, but it was also a matter of those some of those maps were so fucking big. Like what became Valhalla in Halo 4. It was that map in Halo 3. It was like 5v5, and that map would have done very well. Playing an 8-on-8 or a 10-on-10. So you
Yeah.
needed a 3 or 4 second respawn time just so you could get back into the game. Otherwise, if it's 4v4 and you take one person out and they've got 10, 15 seconds to respawn, plus 10 or 15 seconds of running across the map,
Yeah.
um, it it's not hard to swing a game into just an outright route. Um,
Yeah. Well, and they took it away because again, they were focused on competitive, and they were like, "Oh, it's no fun when you can die and just immediately get back into the game." Okay, yeah, maybe in a ranked game or maybe in a MLG game where you're trying to have a four-man team of pros take over a map. You can't take over a map when spawns are so quick that they're back in the action. It was this if they were never gone. But
right.
in a casual aspect, they changed so many things about Halo. One, I swear, the spawn timer, and it completely changes how the game feels.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can get steamrolled because your spawn timer is so long, it lets them take control of the map.
Exactly.
And it makes it more competitive and less casual. The other thing they changed is they took away a ton of the fun weapons. Remember back in the day, there used to be like 2 rockets or 2 snipers or
Mm-hmm.
and a fuel rod cannon and a this and a that and a mongoose and a fucking ghost and all kinds of shit. that was fucking fun as shit for casual. Oh, he's got the I got the rockets. Oh, I got the fucking
Yeah.
fuel rod. Oh, there's fucking 3 bubble shields on this map. Fuck it, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was fun as fuck. And then they were like, well, that's not very competitive, so we're gonna have one sniper that you're gonna have to fight for. And like again, that's great for competitive. That's
Yeah.
what you want
That's
for
the way it
competitive.
should be.
That's not what you want for when we got fucking 8v8 going on. We're just trying to have a party shooter, good fucking fun time. We don't want to be fighting over that one sniper all day, and then the one team that gets it now gets the benefit if he's got that thing fucking stacked and we're all getting spawn killed. That's not fun for fucking anybody.
Mm-mm.
Like they don't get it. There's so many aspects. Not every, but there's so many little choices they've made that when you break it down, they literally took the fun out of the game and focused on competitive. Even like the glitches in the campaign. Every time somebody find a fun glitch, like where you could take the fucking scorpion cannon through the fucking campaign, and they patched it out within like a week. It's like, do you guys not understand your fucking core audience?
Well,
We're here to have fun. If I want to play a sweat fest fucking game, I'll go play Call of Duty.
and Mystery makes a good point about only being able not being able to use the BR because there's only one on the map.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, and that's another problem with the stupid weapon lockers. The
I
way they
just
spawn, you can't have multiples
the
because that person picked it up.
the BR is such a I think it's such a divisive gun in Halo because everybody's like, well, oh, it's so good. Look what it can do. So we need to make it a power weapon. I of all the of
It's
all the,
not. It's not though. If everyone has
no,
it,
it's not a power weapon. But I mean,
if
it should
one
always.
fucking person on each team has it, then it's a power weapon.
Well, that's the reason why I liked. It's one of the reasons why I liked Halo 4 so much. Was their base loadout weapons. You could use any of them if you wanted to use the Covenant carbine. You wanted to use the needle or the oh fuck. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whichever of the like each faction um had its own like 2 or 3 different weapons, and you
Yeah,
could mix and match which ones you liked. But they were all balanced. The only difference between the BR and the AR and the Covenant carbine, which is my favorite, is can you hit your shots?
yeah,
Because if the time to kill is the same, and that's the way it
yeah.
should
About
be.
the same.
Yeah,
It's literally the one that shoots slower does more damage, so you have to hit more of your shots. The one that shoots faster
you can
does. You
less
just have to hit
damage.
a majority of your shots,
Right.
but as long as you're hitting some of them, again, you know,
And that's the way it should be for those types of those types of weapons. And when they moved the BR into like a power weapon slot, it's like it's kind of dumb. Like
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me. Like Mystery says, it's a tool. It's not a power weapon.
No,
Rocket launchers and fusion cannons and the cinnamon cannon that I can't remember what it's called, and those types of weapons. Those are power weapons. They're explosive. They do huge damage, and then they take the BR and give it huge damage. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's
yeah.
a
Well, look at
that's a
like
standard issue weapon in the Halo lore, and I'm a lore person with Halo. The BR is just as common as an AR, is just as common as the DMR.
yeah,
It's not something that's a specialty weapon. You're
no,
not going to send a 4-man squad of Spartans into combat with everybody has rocket launchers. That's not effective. But you give them. You might have one guy with a rocket launcher, but the rest of them have a variety of ARs, BRs, and DMRs. So,
yeah. Well, and that's
makes no fucking sense to me.
with them taking weapons off the map. Like imagine like Valhalla, right? Because Valhalla had the laser in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
but then each side got snipes
Mm-hmm.
and BRs, and then there was shotguns on each. And then on the sides, what was there? Wasn't there a turret on the one side, and then the other side had like a needler or something?
Yeah,
And there
but
was DMRs,
but
and
it was
then
balanced. That's the
yeah, but there
difference.
but there was a ton of fucking weapons for you to go pick what your favorite tool was. But if somebody else had one, you could still get one. You could be like, I like the fucking BR. I'm gonna get the BR. I like the DMR. You could get the DMR. It wasn't well. The one guy on our team that keeps grabbing it the entire game has it, so the rest of us just don't have it. I guess.
Right. Well, and that was what the way with Halo 3 was, yeah, everybody started out with an AR pistol, but then you pepper the map with all the different types of weapons that the people want to use, and they can go get them. And then you have Halo 4 where they put all of those weapons into your loadouts, which is
Yeah.
what I liked. I mean, I'm in the minority. Most people hate Halo 4. I loved it. Um, you could really customize your Spartan. You could give them special Spartan abilities, and there was like passive abilities, and there was more all these other loadouts and stuff. And all you had on the map was power weapons, and it was a matter of like, okay, this group is going to rush for the cinnamon cannon, and this group is going to rush for one of the other power weapons, maybe the grenade launcher or something. Um,
Yeah.
they balanced the power weapons and let you use the core weapons that Spartans use. But then they've they got away from something that I really really liked in Halo 4 and then in Halo 5, and they tried to do it in Halo 5 and it's completely gone in Infinite. Was they justified multiplayer with the lore. In Halo 4, all of your combat that you had in multiplayer, well, that was just training. That was all simulated
Yeah.
training. That's why you had red versus blue. Um, and they kind of did that in Halo 5, where you had teams where you were working together to gain certain types of armor, and they kind of put a lore thing behind it, kind of. Um, and then they just
Yeah.
completely just threw that out the door. Like the fact that we never got another season of Spartan Ops, which is a fucking shame.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I don't know. It's just it's unfortunate. It it's just not fun.
nope.
That's what it boils down to. It's not a good time. The glitches and the hit registration and melee and all that stuff just makes it even worse. But even at its core, even if all that was fixed, which who knows when that would be fixed, it's not a fun game. And I'm not saying you can't have fun on the game. I think a lot of people get that confused when I say something on Twitter like, "Oh, it's not fun." I'm not saying you can't have fun. The only way to have fun is load in with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
But we could have fun playing any fucking game. We could play the worst game there is. If we got four of us all playing at the same time and laughing and making fun of and trolling, especially if proximity chat was available, just trolling and fucking with people, uh, it's not fun. Which leads us to why we're playing Call of Duty now,
Yeah, so
which I never
speaking of
thought I'd play
games,
Call of
yeah,
Duty.
speaking of games with proximity chat, excellent segue into the most bittersweet gaming situation I've ever been in. For years, years and years, I hated Call of Duty mostly because even though it wasn't geared towards children, you
Yeah,
ended up with a lot of children playing the game, and I didn't um, I didn't like that. Um, I
you
didn't
don't
want
like
to. Well,
playing with kids.
well, I have kids, so the last thing that I want to do when all the kids go to bed, when I want to relax, is play with more kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you're trying to take a break from
yeah, no, no, no,
immature trolling idiots.
exactly, and that was one of the reasons why it turned me off from Call of Duty, and then on the other hand, it had a reputation for a long time of being nothing but campers, and
Well, that's always been my number one issue with Call of Duty from the very beginning was the time to kill. It's
yeah,
too fucking fast. So if you're around a corner and I come around, no matter how fucking good I am, because you got the first shot off, you won. I
yeah,
lost. And that was always one of the things that I loved about Halo. I could come around a corner, be half fucking shields, half dead, and I could still outplay you and beat you. That does not happen in Call of Duty.
mm-mm.
Rarely. If I do some crazy shit and dive and do and out strafe you, maybe in Call of Duty. If I make you miss every single other shot that you had on me, the time to kill is so fucking fast though. I
It's
die in three or
shocking.
four bullets. You got the first two off when I walked in the door. What am I supposed to do? Like, so yeah, that's always why I didn't like it, and that's why I liked Halo and a lot of the other games that were more forgiving. The cool thing about the new DMZ mode, which is what we're talking about, we're not playing Call of Duty multiplayer. It still has the problem of time to kill is way too fucking fast. It's
Yeah,
still camping and who can watch who can watch the corner better, who can sit in front of the doorway better. Uh, but the DMZ mode, it's kind of like a BR, but more forgiving for a couple reasons. If you play it right, you literally don't even have to play against other players. As soon as other players turn up, you can fucking leave if you want. And because of proximity chat, you can even hear them before you saw them. You can hear them roll up, hear them talking, and go, "Yeah, right up. It's right up here." And you just go, "Oh, there's people here. Let's fucking get out of here."
Right.
Most of you're playing against AI, which are way too fucking strong, and it comes back to the same problem that the time to kill is way too fast. I shouldn't walk around a corner and didn't see that there was an AI there, and he downs me in half a second. But the way revives work, if you revive me 20 minutes later, you can still revive me.
I think that's one of the things that really makes playing this game a lot more fun. Is
Yeah,
exactly that. If something happens and you get nuked by a team, I can run away, I can hide, I can sit and wait, and then they're gone, and then uh,
yeah. And we need to get better at that too, because I feel like sometimes we don't, because we're so used to, no, I got to stick around.
yeah,
Oh, and then our
yeah,
whole team dies. Because as long as your whole team doesn't die, that was one of the things I loved about Scavengers, which so many people didn't play. It, it was the first BR that was so forgiving. If your team died, and a lot of the time when I first played it, people didn't know how it worked, and I could tell when it was a new player because we'd get in a fight and I would just leave, and they'd be like, "Where the fuck are you going?" I'm like, "Bro, you're gonna respawn on me in a minute and a half. By me staying alive, you just respawn for free on me." Like that was one of the best aspects of it. You didn't just get screwed because you got into a bad situation accidentally. You just fucking leave, uh, and you're still in it, and it helps keep the frustration factor down. I'm not saying DMZ is not frustrating.
oh
It's fucking
god, it's
ultra
incredibly fucking
frustrating.
so frustrating.
Yeah, but being able to just fucking leave, nope out of a situation, which we need to get better. Like, all right, you're gonna leave, just fucking survive, and I'll die to like protect you and leave out. We need to do that more because I feel like we'd have more successful exfils if we got better at doing that.
If
It'd help if
that's
we had three people too.
well, there's that. But if that's your objective in DMZ is that you want to have these really successful exfils, then
Yeah,
then yeah,
depends what you're doing, what
yeah,
missions or what
it
exfil
really
or whatever.
does. It really depends on what you're wanting to do because you can go in and say, all right, uh, I'm really wanting to load up on new gear. I want to get some more contraband weapons or whatever. It's the DMZ is the demilitarized zone is essentially what it is. Um, yeah, it's I would
Fucking demilitarize my ass.
yeah.
It's fucking
Um,
military everywhere.
yeah. Well, it's not. Yeah, that's the problem. Is it's not military. They're all paramilitary, all mercenaries, guards, and that type of stuff. It's not a true military. But um, if that's what you're wanting to do is go in and get out a lot of gear, then what you're saying, yeah, that's a great strategy.
Yeah.
But let's say you just want to go in and you got your three missions and like I'm going to complete my missions. So
Yeah, and you can just focus on that and ignore everything else and don't even care if you're going to exfil. I've done that sometimes. Some of the missions you're like, I have to drop a bunch of these objects in this dumpster on a certain part of town. I'll just go fuck it. I'm gonna go find those items. I'm gonna go dump them in there. I don't give a shit when sometimes I'm rolling up and like a whole team's there. I'm like fuck it. I'm putting them in the dumpster. I don't care if I die. I want to finish this mission. Uh,
right,
that's the cool thing about DMZ too. There's so many different ways to play. You could also just completely ignore the missions and leveling up your guns and attachments and stuff, and just go in to be a fucking troll,
yeah.
and just ruin other people's day.
Well, I've had such a fun time. Like right now, I've been stuck on those two missions that I just need to. I just need to like really sit down and say, okay, I have to finish these. Um,
The only reason I even want to finish them is so I can have a second weapon slot.
yeah, me
I,
too.
I don't I
Me
don't
too.
care about finishing the mid. I just
Yeah,
want that second weapon slot. So sometimes I can just go. I'm gonna take one in. If we die, I'll have another as a backup. But then other times when we're like we want to go troll or just push teams, it'd be so nice to have two fully kitted weapons. Have two weapon slots. But we've done a poor job of explaining it for people that haven't played it or don't know what the new DMZ mode is. It's technically in beta, so it's Call of Duty. It's on the same Warzone map, which is Call of Duty's Battle Royale. The difference is instead of a zone that constantly moves, there's a radiation zone that stays one size for like what 20 minutes, I
I
think.
think it's 20 minutes.
Well, it stays one size for 20 minutes. Inside of that radiation zone, there's a dude called the Chemist that if you go and kill him, you can get a really good gun off of him.
There's good
But
loot inside the radiation zone.
yeah, there's really good loot in there, but it's in radiation the whole time in that zone, but it doesn't move. So you can just play around on the entire rest of the map for that first 20 minutes, and then it starts to spread. But the way the game plays out, it's kind of like Tarkov, where whatever gear you take in, that's on you. If you die and drop that gear in there, you lost all that gear. So if you had a really good backpack or level 3 armor, you had a good gun or whatever, you lose all that other than your one weapon slot, which they call your insured slot. That one weapon slot you'll still have, but it goes on a cooldown. So if you die now, your insured weapon slot for 2 hours, you can't use that. So you got to use they call them contraband. The other weapons that you've pulled out of the game, you got to load up with one of those, or do what Q and I do a lot of the time, just go in with your fists and
Yeah.
just the first AI you see, you go beat the shit out of him and take his gun.
Well,
So
I mean, I wanted to just a brief mention of that insured gun. I think that cooldown is too long,
eh,
especially for casual players that only have a couple of
I
hours
don't
to
th-
play. You
I
know,
don't think the cooldown's too long. Well, okay, the cooldown's too long because there's not a good way to get it down. Because you can go in the next game, do a bunch of missions, complete them successfully, buy a bunch of guns, and exfil, and you still have an hour and a half left.
right,
By you doing another successful infill and a couple missions, every mission and an exfil and like all that other stuff, the only thing that takes your cooldown time is if you exfil with money. That's stupid. Every mission you do should reduce your cooldown time.
yeah, I'd be okay with that. You know, if there's another way to reduce your cooldown time, but I just look at it as from the perspective of a casual, of a gamer dad that only has a couple of hours to play, and you spend all
Yeah.
this
Well, that's why
time.
it should. That's why it should
Yeah,
be easier to reduce it. If you load in the next game and you do 2 or 3 missions successfully, you should now have that weapon available.
yeah, I agree.
You should be able to die or exfil. It should also have a notification when you've reached your cooldown.
Right,
It should say, "Hey, weapons are now available" or whatever,
right.
so
But
that you know. Oh, whether I die or exfil right now, I can go get my gun again and get back in here. But it shouldn't
what
be. Right now, you have to play like 6, 7, 8 games successfully or not to get your gun back. That's
right,
too many.
right, and that's like I said, you have to wait 2 hours, which means you're going to go in and you say you start a game with your insured weapon, and you play 10, 15, 20 minutes and you die. Okay, then you leave. That's the moment your cooldown starts. So really, before you get to use your next gun again, it's another 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And for somebody that's only got 2 or 3 hours to play, and they've got their favorite gun, like you have the M4 and I like the M13, and if we start playing our first game and then we lose it, like we're gonna probably finish up here pretty soon, and we're gonna go play. I'm gonna have maybe 2.5 hours before I need to go to bed,
Yeah, so
and
if you drop it and lose it,
it's
now it's
gone.
gone
Yeah,
for
that's it.
majority of the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's gone for the entire time. So I got to play one game with the gun,
Yeah,
and like
and that
that's
does
not
make
very
it a little
fair.
frustrating. Yeah,
Um,
they either need to, like you said, reduce the overall cooldown time, like make it half an hour or something, or have more than just one way, which is exfil with money or put money in a dumpster. Have more than one way to, you know, maybe every operator you kill reduces your cooldown time by
well,
10 minutes or
that's another thing that really surprises me that if you kill an AI or you kill a real person, you get the same amount of XP, and I find that really strange.
yeah, it
Uh,
should be like 100 times more for killing a
or,
person.
or even just a little bit more. Like, okay, if you kill an AI for 100 XP, uh, if you kill an operator, it's 200 XP.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and the AI shouldn't all be equal either.
oh my god. And then that's a whole nother issue that is a common theme throughout all the people that I've seen playing this game is going. the AI in this game. If you like, Rabble said he looks fun. Mysteries, talked about it. If you get the opportunity to play it, um, the AI is some of the toughest AI of any
Yeah,
video game that I've ever played outside of playing like legendary mode or hard mode
they're
or
torn. They're turned up to hardcore. They're literally
every one of
not
them.
only do they have auto aim, they will literally push you. If you're in a building, they will push from every entryway at the same time.
Oh yeah,
They will jump through the window. They'll come through the door, all at the same time. I don't know how they program their AI.
I mean, they play just like playing AI, which then are playing real people. So,
Players,
yeah,
yeah,
so then okay, maybe that's the reason why they're the same skill level or the same XP because they're essentially the same skill, but they don't miss their shots. Like
yeah,
I mean, there's no running, zigzagging, and
yeah.
diving trying to get away. They're going to hit you every time.
Yeah. Well, and they run away and they go hide behind cover. And the one dudes that drop smoke constantly are fucking annoying. And they have armor and like, yeah, they move so similar to players. Literally every single game you play, you be like, is that a player or an AI? I can't
Yeah.
fucking tell.
And I mean, and even if it's like, oh, it's just AI, yeah, there's probably a half a dozen to 10 of them, which is just worse. I'd rather play against 3 operators than I would, 10 AI because I mean that's
Yeah,
terrifying. Here comes a truckload of AI. You're going to be ruined. You need to move.
yeah. I've
It's
I've it makes you play. You have to play so. You have to check every corner. You have to play like it's real war, like you're in a war zone. Every
mm-hmm.
single check your corners, look on roofs. You have to be so cautious because in an instant you'll just be down and be like, oh, all right, I guess there's 40 AI guys here. So that's the one. That's the one frustrating thing. It's rumored, and I haven't been able to confirm it, but I've had a lot of people say that it really feels like it's rumored that there's literally skill-based matchmaking for the AI. Because I swear they weren't this strong when we first started,
I don't
but
think they were.
it also could be they've just patched and updated them and made them, harder for everyone. But I've seen across the board, everyone has talking about it that the AI is way harder. The more successful X feels and the more they play, the harder the AI gets.
Yeah, it's incredible, and I mean it's challenging, and it makes. I mean, you could take the other players, you could take the other real live players out of the game, and just fill it with just AI and complete missions and stuff like that, and it would still be a great game, and it would still be incredibly challenging.
Yeah,
Having
still be super fun.
having other players on the map adds a really unique flavor to the game, and of course, like we've said, adding in proximity chat is was a huge. It's the reason why I started playing it. And after I started playing it, I became more of like, okay, with or without party chat, this is a really good, well balanced game. Time to kill is a little rough,
Yeah,
but even with that, the gunplay is good. Um, there's guns out there for every single style. There's categories of guns, and each category of gun has the ability to, if you don't have any experience with that weapon, there's one there that you can find that you like. I've never been a sniper guy. I've never liked playing the sniper position. It's just never been that. I like to run and shoot. Um, but every one of the snipers in the game is like, wow, it is really good. Like last night, when I was playing with the Signal 50,
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. It's like I know that Oreo is going to go up and he's going to hit his shots and he's going to make good decisions up close, and I can sit on top of a building and give him cover. He can fight off the operators while I'm dealing with the AI. Um,
yeah. No, it's really fun.
it is,
It's
and it,
nice that there's so many different ways to play it.
right.
That's the nice thing that it's one mode that fits so many people, and they were smart the way they've done that. Whereas some people make one sort of mode and try to force everyone to fit into that one mode, and don't give any leeway or flexibility on how else you can play it.
Right. Yeah. So I hate to say it. It breaks my heart. It pains me. It's bittersweet. Um, like I said, I'm wearing the Call of Duty T-shirt,
Yeah.
and I'm
It's
not
super
and I'm
fun.
not wearing the
That's
Halo shirt. It's done. The Halo shirt's put
yeah.
away.
if we're being honest, that's why we missed the podcast last week because we just kept playing, and then we were
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, we missed our recording. Should we record?" And we're like, "Nah,
No.
let's keep playing." We just couldn't. It's addicting. You can't stop playing it.
And that was a problem last night. I don't know how long, how late in the day you slept today, but I can
Yeah,
tell
I
you,
didn't go to bed till like 3 in the morning
it
or
was
something.
5 a.m. when I went to bed last night, because we've had just so much fun playing it, and
Yeah,
um,
I crashed earlier. I had to take like an hour long nap.
I got up at it was probably 2:30 when I got up this morning.
Oh, see, I got up at 9:30, made myself breakfast, played a little DMZ, and then I was like, I'm pretty tired. I think I'll lie down. I did a whole Forrest Gump. Took
Well,
a little nap, and then
yeah,
I was like, well, we're gonna do the podcast. I'm gonna play a little more DMZ before we do the podcast. So if I lose my gun, it'll be on cooldown by the time we're
yeah.
done with the
Well,
podcast.
yeah, that was the thing last night. Is like, we had that, we were like, okay, I'm gonna play one more, and it just went south. It was a terrible. We got rolled by, I don't remember if it was AI or if it was operators or whatever it was. We got rolled. And I'm like,
Yeah, I don't
fuck.
remember.
It's like
It
I don't want to have nothing to start the next time we play. So I started. We was like, all right, let's play it again. And uh,
it
so we
it's
went,
just fun.
yeah,
That's when you know it's a good game when you're literally.
I,
That's like back in the day when we'd play Halo till like 3, 4 in the morning. We'd be like, fuck, I gotta get up for
I gotta go to
work
work.
or school in
Yeah,
fucking 3 hours, and we're back to that same thing. And on a Call of Duty,
on a
never
Call of
would have
Duty,
thought
on a
I'd play that
Call of
much
Duty.
Call of Duty.
Like, I don't have any desire to play their battle royale. I went into it once, and I was like, oh, way too
It's just a
sweaty.
it's a more sweaty version
Yeah,
of DMZ because there's even more operators,
yeah,
and because the zone forces you all together. Again, DMZ doesn't. If you want to just run away and not even deal with operators, you can.
yeah. I played it once, realized I didn't like it, um, and then I have no desire to play the other multiplayers. I don't care. Um, I would like to try their campaigns, because the only other Call of Duty that I've played that I really liked was World War II, and that campaign was a gorgeous, extremely well done campaign, and that was something that you don't really hear a lot of people talking about.
Yeah,
Is the campaigns for Call of Duty. So I would like to go and play that. But that being said,
not for seventy
not for
dollars though.
$70. I'm not buying a campaign for $70.
Yeah, which is
That's
weird
just
that
too
Call of
much.
Duty they skipped the $60. They only have, at least from everything I've seen, they
Hmm.
only have a $70 version.
Yeah, they have a $70 and $100 version. There might be one in between, but I know that there's a 69.99 and a 99.99 version,
I think
and
that's it.
it's like,
The 99, all it does is give you a couple skins.
right, there's nothing extra. It isn't like the old days when you would buy the legendary edition of Halo, and you got the ammo box, or you got the Master Chief helmet, or whatever. Um, there's just no incentive to me. And once again, I'm a gamer dad, a gamer parent, gamer adult. I
Yeah.
don't have a lot of money to spend on these games, so I'm gonna get the most bang for my buck, and I'm getting all the
Yeah,
bang
and play
for
it for
free.
free.
I don't have any desire to even buy anything on their battle pass. I mean, I did buy their battle pass.
Yeah, we bought the battle pack, but it's $10 and it unlocks a
Well,
lot of new operators and new skins. And
I bought.
I do wish the XPs worked for DMZ. I can't figure. I don't think they do.
Well, in hindsight, I don't. I kind of wish that I didn't buy the battle pass, because,
Because there's nothing to really like out of it.
well, no, there's some really cool stuff. Like, I got that. I remember we were playing last night, and I got that orbiter machine gun, or that assault rifle. I really,
Oh
really
yeah,
liked it. So I went into the weapons last night to kind of figure out, like, I know I have it. Where do I get it? And then I realized that you have to put it in your insured slot. So once again, you're being relegated to getting to play with these cool new guns once every 2 hours,
yeah. I
assuming you
wish
die.
it
Yeah,
just needs to be faster. But again, it's in beta.
it is in
They
beta.
have
Maybe that's
said
something that they'll fix.
there's that's pretty much across the board. Everyone has said weapon cooldown time's too long.
Way too long.
AI is too strong,
I
and
would be okay with the AI being just as strong if I could take my guns to deal with it.
yeah.
You
The
know,
other thing that a ton of people have asked for, especially a lot of pro players, like Shroud has talked about it, that one of the reasons he stopped playing DMZ, there needs to be an outside of the game economy, kind of like how Tarkov has. There should be a reason that you want to get all that money out,
yeah, but
other than just to
other than
cool down
cooling
your
down.
gun.
Hmm.
You should be able to either keep it when you get out of the game and then use it for something, buy attachments, or literally buy out of the game for your cooldown to get cooldown. Go spend 20,000 and knock half an hour off or whatever. There should be a reason to get the money out because right now you literally
There isn't.
like you're like, well, I have my gun and I have 20 grand, but I don't even need anything. What do we do with it? We're
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just
Hell,
fucking take it out, I guess.
yeah, I've taken it out. I've left it behind, like at a buy station in the DMZ. Like
For
I'll just drop
as
down.
a Christmas present.
Yeah, I'll just drop down 15,000. Like I'm X-filling anyway. I don't need it, so I'm just going to go ahead and just leave it for the next person that's playing. And that's one of the other cool things is the interactions that you can have with other players can go from extraordinarily funny and unique, and maybe even building a
Yeah,
friendship with another player to absolutely just bottom of the barrel toxic. You know,
devastating.
yeah,
Yeah, I've had everything.
yeah. Like the one we played, maybe it was last week when we were exfilling, and there was like three teams there, and then we show up, and like one dude was like the head dude, and he's like, "Oh, we're not shooting each other. We're all friendly. We're all going to exfil together."
Yeah,
And then one guy shoots me, and then all hell breaks loose, and I ended up putting
yeah.
down
So
like two
then,
teams,
yeah, we kill all of
kill
them left by
everybody.
ourselves. And the one guy the whole time was like, "Why did you shoot that? Why the fuck are we shooting?" And we're like, "You guys shot first,
Yeah,
so I don't know,
I
dude."
mean, I've played too much Grand Theft Auto to sit there and think that there's not going to be
No,
backstabbing. Like, no, it's shoot first and don't ask questions.
no. Proximity chat is fucking. I mean, we've said it 1,000 times. Proximity chat is a fucking game changer. I had an experience last night. I think it was last night or was it this morning? I don't know. I was tired. I had an experience. I was playing just by myself. My randoms had left, so it was just me. And I rolled up on some people, and we were like shooting each other. They downed me. I self revived. I downed one of them, and I don't know, Rabble. The point is to have fun. You can't stop playing it. There is no point.
Well,
What's
no.
the point? What's the point to playing Halo?
Well, what he's saying is what's the point to the to the buying anything with your money? You can collect the money in the
You,
game, and then or in the DMZ in that
to
battle
get better
mode.
stuff,
Yeah, and then
get
you can
better
go.
backpacks so you can hold more stuff and more ammo. Get better armor. That's what you use money for. You can buy an LTV, a turret, gun, a turret,
A
all
heavily
terrain
armored, yeah,
vehicle.
a heavily armored transport truck and stuff like that. But there's buy stations in the DMZ that you can take your money to and buy things. But
Yeah,
if you've already looted the best backpack, which is not that hard to find, you've already
no.
looted the best armor, which once again isn't that hard to find.
You
Uh,
can also buy guns at the buy stations, and
yeah,
everyone has a random what it'll be. But 90% of the time, it's guns that you don't want, and you're like, I'm not going to spend 12 grand on a gun I don't want.
yeah. Well, especially once you get to kind of like where we are, where um, here we've been playing for a couple of weeks, and I've kind of got everything. There's a few guns that I'm missing from my collection, but you can't use a gun. You can't bring a gun into the game if you haven't gotten it out in the first place. Like you have to bring new weapons out of the DMZ
Yeah,
to be able to
that
use them and take them back in. But so you
yeah,
can so you can rectify that by buying them out of the buy station and leaving with
yeah.
them.
The more rare guns the AI don't have,
Right.
and if you don't pick it up off another operator, that's one cool thing too. You can pick up operator guns, like that somebody else brought in. You'll then take it out and have it with all their attachments and everything. You can't use it in your insured slot, but you can just take it back into the game and have a fully equipped gun, and you're not even burning your insured slot and have to worry about a cooldown.
Right.
Uh,
And
but
that's oh, go ahead.
that I remembered what I was saying with. So I was by myself, and I had that mission where you have to request to join two people, right?
That's a
So we
mission.
were, yeah, there's a mission request to join, and you don't even have to actually join. You just have to hit request
Okay.
to two different people, which I only hit it a couple times and it counted it the first time I did it. So I think it counts if there's multiple teams there. So, anyways, there was multiple teams there, and I didn't realize it. I was hitting request to join, and they must have been at least new enough to not know the difference of whether I was asking to join them or they were asking to join me, or they weren't confused. So I could hear them talking on proximity chat, and they were like, "Oh, wait, leave him alone, have him join us, have him join us." And then one of their guys like joined on me, and his name was like Jordan something, and so it was just me and him, and he was like, "Oh shit, guys, I joined his team," and then so we were on our team, and then he was trying to figure out like how does he get back, and it
Please
ended
tell
up
me you killed them.
they also did it wrong, and so they were all on my team. So I ended up being by myself, and then all of a sudden we had five people on our team, and that's when we figured out there were other teams there, and we shit on like three teams there. And so it went from me like definitely gonna die to all of a sudden having all these people on my team. And like the one girl that was with him was making fun of him. She's like, "You guys are fucking idiots. We should have killed this guy."
Well, it was
But
like
like, and that
it was like the same problem that you and I had last night, where we were facing that one team, where we were both under the impression that it was a 3-man team,
oh yeah, you
and
can't. We got to stop assuming that.
yeah, we got to, because I knew where one was, or excuse me, I knew where two of them were, and the third one was down. So as far as I was concerned, it was a 2v1 in my situation. So I know I can deal with that. And then all of a sudden I get there and like, no, it was a 4-man team. There was two
Yeah.
guys providing cover. One guy was down, and the fourth guy was moving to pick up the third guy. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. And and it was just
No,
like,
it.
didn't I never even thought about it, because I'm so used to playing these games where, okay,
Yeah,
it's
where
a
it's
three
just
man
three
yeah,
and
it's a
that's
3-man
it.
team, and you know that up front, or it's a 4-man team and you know that up front. But all of a sudden you're rolling in thinking it's a 3-man team, and it's a 4 or 5 or a 6-man team. That changes everything.
Yeah. So basically, Ravel Mystery, the one shots in the live stream, or anyone listening that has no idea. So you load in with three, unless you push, don't fail, and like just Q and I went in, then it would be two. But at max, you'll go in with three. But you can request to join, uh, or you can invite people to join you. It has both options in your little ping wheel. You hold the button to ping, and it has either invite to join or request to join. And you can have up to six people in a team. And I've seen it happen more often than not, where you run up on people and you realize, oh shit, that's a whole 6-man fucking squad. Like,
You're not
I had
winning
one.
that.
Yeah, you're not gonna win that. I had one earlier today that was super funny. I found like six screwdrivers, so I have that
You're
mission. I
still
gotta
working on that
go.
mission.
Yeah, I need five more. So I have that mission. I gotta drop 15 screwdrivers in this dumpster. A lot of people online are complaining that some of these missions are stupid.
Yeah, that one's
Whatever.
stupid.
It is pretty stupid,
Or the
but
one I'm working on is ridiculous. The exfiltrate with 6 kill streaks. I'm like, I can't
oh,
get one.
that one's gonna be. I got a exfil with 20 hard drives, but anyways, so I'm doing that. I found like six of them. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go do that. I'm sorry, guys. It was two random guys that were speaking Spanish, and one of them, his mic was like in his mouth, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're so loud, I can't even hear the AI walking or talking. So I just muted him, and I just got in a truck and left. I'm like, I'm gonna go put these screwdrivers in. I want to finish this mission because I want the two weapon slots, right? So I leave. So the two of them, they keep getting down and down and down. I have like everything: a large backpack, a level 3 armor. Like I'm fully kitted, so I don't care about them. They had level 1 everything. So like they keep getting down and picking each other up across the map. I'm doing my thing. I find light bulbs and I find more stuff on my way to go to the thing because it's across the fucking map. Right around the time I get there, I see some message pop up on the screen that I don't often see. Such and such, somebody joined our team. So my two random guys on
Went
their
out and
own
found
over
him.
there,
Found him another
they're
player.
they're like, we need a third. Hey, do you want to be our third? Because our third fucked off. So we got another third. And the funniest part, so the three of them are now a 3-man squad. Technically, there's four on our team, but I'm on the other side of the map. I'm not with them anymore. They all three died. I survived. I put the shit in the dumpster and I fucking exfilled by myself. I'm like, man, that sucks for your fucking 3-man squad. You picked up a new recruit, and it still didn't work out for
It's
you.
too funny. But yeah, it has the idea of, well, bringing back proximity chat is huge. We've said that many times,
Yeah,
and this idea of being able to merge teams in the game as the game is going on, um,
yeah.
is
Well, that's
I've never
part of
played a
prox.
game. I've never played a game like that.
Yeah, that's part of what makes proximity chat even better. I we didn't talk about it on the podcast because we haven't had the podcast since DMZ's come out.
It's true.
The one that we had where I was again solo because my two randoms died to a team that was like right by me. So I went in a gas station and I was like chilling in the gas station behind the counter, like behind the cash register, and I could hear the team that just killed my two randoms running around, and they definitely knew I was in there. And so on proximity chat, they were like, "We'll give you one chance to join us." And me, the more I play Call of Duty, the more I realize you have to act right in that fucking moment because time to kill is so fast.
Right.
So I sprinted out from behind the counter, burst out the door. That's one of my favorite things to do, that you can run into a door
Oh,
and it
me
just
too. Yeah,
opens.
I love that. Yeah.
So I burst out the door and I down the first guy and I finish him, and then I go back in the gas station and I hear him go, "Oh fuck, he got me." Dude, all right, he's in the gas station, and I heard him call me out on proximity chat. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm not in the gas station." I ran out the other side of the gas station because he just told him I was in there. So I went up a ladder. I was up on the roof. So I downed the second and third guys. So I finished the whole fucking squad. And it was just hilarious because literally 2 seconds before I burst out that door, they were like, "We'll give you one chance to join us and we'll let you live." And I just burst out the door and killed their whole fucking team.
And like I said, I've played too many GTA games and stuff like that where
You need to trust people.
you just, yeah, oh, you gotta trust me. Like, no, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trusting you. Um,
No. Did I ever talk about my very first online experience with GTA?
no.
It's it I don't know if it's still like this, but back in the day when GTA 5 online was first a thing, it made you do a mission with like three other people, like a four-man team. It
Mm-hmm.
made you do a mission to like take some drugs out or some shit
Okay.
to teach you like how the online mode worked. So it made me do this mission with these random people. Two of them left, so it's me and one other guy. And like right after that, it tells you to go to like a clothing store because it's trying to teach you how like the online mode works. Like, oh, you go to a clothing store and go buy stuff. So we go there. It's me and this random guy. I'm inside like doing the things to get rid of the prompts, so to let me just play. And he parks the car in front of the door and starts flipping me off. And that door only opens out. I
Yep.
can't pull it in. There's no button to push. So he's out there flipping me off. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's just, because you can do the flip off gesture. And he parked the car in front of the door. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. Eventually he moved it and he went in the store. So I did the same shit to him. I I backed the car back in front of the door and I was flipping him off while he was in there. I'm like, I see why you did this. This is fucking hilarious, you bitch. And then I just left. I left the car door there. I didn't let him out. But yeah, that's my very first online. Imagine, I don't think it had proximity chat back then because I don't remember talking to him. It's just,
I don't
we're just
recall.
flipping each other
Yeah.
off.
But that's games like that have taught us to trust no one.
Yeah.
And in this day of everybody wants to be a content creator. Everybody wants a viral TikTok or a viral whatever. So everyone is doing whatever it takes to to get the views. So you don't know if you're going to face somebody that maybe that's what they're trying to do. So they're going to, oh, I know, we're going to go in and we're going to lure out a team and ask them to join, and before they join we kill them all.
Yeah.
And
Or there's been ones that have joined, and then I saw a TikTok last night of somebody, they were getting a request to join this 2-man squad, and he was like, "Oh, Justin, join their team and just tell me where they're at." And he's like, "Oh, okay, okay." So then he'd go back to proximity chat, and he joined their team, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, guys? No, my random left. What a piece of shit, right? Thanks for getting me on your team." And then he'd mute it and tell him, he's like, "Justin, one's in the garage. He's by himself. Go get him." And so like his other guy that was in Discord with him slowly picked off the team and then invited him back.
Invited him back.
They completely picked off and wiped out the other team and invited him back. And he's like, "Oh my god, bro, we're the worst."
well, I mean, I just exactly. That just proves my point.
Yeah, you
You
can't
you
trust
can't
anybody.
trust anybody in these games. Like I don't trust. I mean, and we're in a situation where they bait me out and kill me because they're not taking any chances. I respect it.
Yeah.
I get it. That's fine. I'm not going to do these things because it's going to happen to me. I'm well aware of it.
No, but it's super fun,
Yeah, highly
and it's
recommend it.
free. It's free. Maybe try it. It is. There is a lot going on, like
It's a
the
huge
exfil and
download.
the insurance weapon, and this. I think yeah, I think it's like 68 gigs or something. Because you have to get the base multiplayer and then the Warzone pack.
You have to download you have to download like well if you're getting the free version you have to download the paid stuff just so you can access the free stuff
Yeah,
and
because you need the base multiplayer, even though you can't play multiplayer for free,
right
other than Warzone and DMZ. You can't play the regular multiplayer, but you need it. You need whatever
whatever assets
data is in
yeah
that. Yeah,
but I mean it's worth downloading and trying it out if you like shooters.
yeah.
um,
It's ruining our sleep schedule. We
oh
literally.
my god, I'm sitting here watching the clock like okay we need to wrap this up soon because I want to play for a
Yeah,
couple hours and I need to go to work in the morning.
yeah. That's what I was just getting ready to. We need to do our cream of the week. Fucking go hop in the DMZ, but no, literally proximity chat does take it to another level. Like I have so many stories. We've only been playing it for like a week and a half or something. I have so many stories. I have that other one where you and our random got downed, and I was coming to get you guys. And this is when we were in proximity chat because you have the option of not being in proximity chat.
Well,
But we were in proximity chat, and I heard people, and I was like, "Oh shit!" There's so then I stopped talking because we were in proximity chat, and you were talking because they can't hear you anymore. And I was just sitting on a roof waiting for them to leave, and like in my mind I'm like, don't breathe into your mic, breathe. And then I went into my mic, and my fucking mic indicator lit up, and the 3-man squad is like, hold up, somebody's here, hey Oreo. And I don't think you could hear him because we were far enough away from you, you couldn't hear the proximity.
mm-hmm.
But they were like, hey Oreo, yeah, he's here somewhere, Oreo, come on out, where are you, buddy? And I was like, fuck bro, I accidentally breathed into my mic, and now I'm being hunted. And then I waited long enough. They got disinterested, and I parachuted off of the roof and came towards you guys. But I landed by like 6 AI, and I got gunned down and died anyways. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Either way. Yeah. So, what is your cream of the week?
uh, I I was gonna do a certain movie, but I'm gonna save that for when I can't think of one, because I have a different one. My cream of the week is going to be the new hit show on Netflix, Wednesday.
Oh my god. I
Have you
haven't
watched it yet?
no, but I've seen enough TikToks that Have you seen the TikToks where like there's something going on and then it cuts to the guy and it's like a new kink unlocked? God,
Yeah.
when she's gorgeous. Fuck me.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
just
I am obsessed. I've been watching interviews and stuff with her.
it
Let,
makes
let me
it
just say this, but when they announced this, before I knew anything about Jenna or the show or anything, in my mind I'm like, you can't beat Christina Ricci. She's fucking Wednesday.
right. And they
She's Wednesday,
yeah.
and they fucking okay. So I'll say this: if you watch it, the first 10 minutes are a little cringe, and you're gonna be like, mm. So the first 2 minutes are great. It's her. I guess I'll spoil it because it's in the trailer. There's no spoiler. It's her at a regular school, and there's these like swimmer jock nerds that pick on Pugsley, and so she approaches them in the school while they're in there swimming, and she drops a bunch of piranha in the pool and says, "I'm the only one allowed to pick on my brother." Like,
Yeah. Well, that I mean
and
that's the very core of what Adam's family was. Is
yeah,
they could abuse and bully each other, but they were still a
yeah, but nobody
family.
else.
Yeah, they were a
They
family at
protect
the
their
end.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that part's fine. That's great. But then right after that, they introduce the people that play all the other characters. I mean, you saw Pugsley. He's probably my least favorite of like the new actors that are playing these characters that we've all known for so many years. Morticia's fine. Gomez grows on you, but the first time you see them, they all feel off. Because in your mind, we're all so used to the Christina Ricci
Yeah.
era, right? And they're so different, the characters. And it feels off, and like so for the first like 10 minutes, you're like, am I gonna like this show? I don't know. But Jenna Ortega's Wednesday is so fucking good.
Well, I
You
think
kind of ignore the other cast picks.
I think what I love about this show, I haven't watched it yet, and like I said, I have my reasons. So this
I
is
won't spoil. I won't spoil any of the main plot points then.
this is. I love the fact that they're introducing a new generation to hot goth girls. Because
Yes,
you
bring it
had,
back.
yeah. I mean, if you go back to the black and white, um, the black and white Adams family, where you had, I don't remember her name, that played Morticia, that was just absolutely gorgeous. And
I don't
then,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you move on to the Christina Ricci era, which introduced our generation to hot goth girls. And then now you have this it has been just reinvigorated, and bringing a whole generation of young millennials and Gen Zers that had never watched the Adams Family to oh my god, like, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, the goth era is definitely gonna come back. Like,
Oh,
no, I
yes,
wasn't gonna talk
please.
about that Rabble. See, we were all kind of raised like our age group. We all grew up with the Christina Ricci. That's not the original Adams Family though. There's an original. There's a comic book series. There's a whole bunch of Adams Family stuff way back in the day, and the Christina Ricci era kind of reached away from it a little bit. This one, Tim Burton specifically said, and this is why I've kind of like gotten used to Gomez, and the more I've learned about it, they went more off of the original Adams Family.
Right.
Gomez was kind of chubby and like quirky and weird. He wasn't some handsome fucking devil
Mm-hmm.
like he was in our Adams Family.
Yeah.
So he's grown on me. I'm just saying, in the first like 5 minutes of the show, I guarantee you'll have that weird feeling too, where you're like, there's just something off about the Gomez and Morticia, but they grow on you. You're fine with it. Immediately though, you're like, oh, she is Wednesday. She's my favorite Wednesday now. Like,
Well,
Christina Ricci's in the show, so it's okay to to say. I just never thought before I watched it that there's no way they could take away my Wednesday, my
mm-hmm.
Adams Family I grew up with. But
You want to know
it
my like complete random trivia of the original Adams Family? I didn't know this until like 2 weeks ago.
what's that?
The original Gomez Adams, the actor's name is
The actor?
yeah, John Aston, is Sean Aston, the of Samwise and Stranger Things and of that fame. That's his adopted dad. Like
Oh yeah,
that's his dad. I didn't know they're not related by blood, but that's his adopted father.
adopted it. Huh?
Yeah, I just think that's so fucking cool because I love Sean Astin. I love every movie and every show that he's been in. I loved him in Stranger Things, and I loved him in The
Yeah.
Hobbit, and
50 First Dates.
yeah, yeah, in 50 First Dates, and I mean I just think he's great.
I didn't even know he was adopted. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that was his adopted father. I don't know the story
By
behind
fucking
it.
Gomez.
Yeah, by
Gomez
the
Adams.
OG Gomez Adams.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, so, but I think it's great. It's on my list of things to watch. I just
Oh, it's so good. She plays such, and it was such a good decision to bring on Tim Burton. He
oh
didn't write
yeah,
it. It was written by like I think there's 7 or 8 writers, like almost one per episode. There's also some other people that co-direct along with Tim Burton, but he's ultimately like the creative lead of the show. And there's all kinds of behind the scenes like cool trivia about the show, like how Jenna was saying that one time during a take she didn't blink, and Tim was like, "Oh, all right, we're doing that for the rest of the show." And like, so she literally doesn't blink in the show. You can look for it. She does not blink, as far as I know. When I was looking for it, I didn't see it. There was a TikTok joking of, "All right, we're gonna play a drinking game. We're gonna watch the new Wednesday show, and we're gonna chug this. We're gonna chug this Sam Adams here. And we're gonna stop as soon as Wednesday blinks, and like, it
rip.
just shows them dead." I guess he also had to fight a little with Netflix because they were worried about her being too edgy. Like, there's a scene where she says, "I do like stabbing," and I guess when Netflix pushed back, and he's like, "That's the character. You can't kill the core of the character.
Right.
That's who she is," and
Yeah.
that's one of the most quoted fucking lines. Is
She has taken a special place in my heart, right alongside of Aubrey Plaza, which is would have been
oh
another
yeah,
which would have been another great Wednesday character or Wednesday actress. Um, yeah,
yeah, she could have played Morticia.
oh,
Well, maybe it would have been a little weird. I don't know. Maybe
yeah, no, she couldn't play Morticia because that's a whole
no,
different
she'd be a
character.
Wednesday.
She would
Yeah,
absolutely be a Wednesday. But of course she's too old. I hate saying it like that, but I mean she is too old to play that character. So that's they. I mean, then this girl comes in, this actress, and she blew me away.
Yeah.
I've seen trailers, I've seen TikToks about it.
No,
Um,
she's so good. I'm gonna watch some of her other shows. She's in the new Scream, so I'm probably gonna watch that. Like,
she is.
she, I, yeah, I guess she's been acting since she was 9. She was talking about it. I watched. She was on Jimmy Fallon. She was talking about she's been acting since she was 9. She did commercials at first. One of them, she did 3 different McDonald's commercials, and it was 3 completely different people that booked her, and none of them knew that the other people had also booked her for other McDonald's commercials. So McDonald's had her in 3 different commercials. She was like the McDonald's girl on accident. Like they didn't mean to book her for multiple
That's
commercials.
pretty cool. But anyway, yeah,
No,
that's
yeah, she's Wednesday now. The new generation of this.
yeah,
She's the Christina Ricci now of the goth obsession, like you said.
yeah. It's a
That
whole
is
new
Wednesday.
generation of boys that have discovered golf and girls. I don't want to leave them out. Boys and
Oh
girls
no no no
that
yeah.
discover hot golf girls because that's a whole thing.
And
Um,
she might be bi or lesbian. I don't know.
that's
There
even
she does.
better.
In one of her movies, she's making out with another girl,
That's
and
even better.
I guess she tweeted out a picture of the LGBTQ flag recently, and so a lot of people are saying,
Fantastic.
I already love her, and I love her even more, and like,
Yeah, that's wonderful. Um, it
she made a comment that if she got to pick who she was romantically involved with on the show, it would be her werewolf roommate, the girl.
goddamn. You're not
Yeah,
doing
but
me any good, Oreo. You're not doing me
you
any
gotta
good.
watch it. Oh, the other character that kind of I was weird at first was the Fester, but he
Yeah,
grew on me. I mean,
yeah. I
cause
mean
we
that's
had
Christopher Lloyd.
what's his yeah, Christopher Lloyd. He's so good for that.
Hmm.
He's perfect for this guy's fine too. They grow on you. They bug you for about a minute, and then you're like, yeah,
But
he
you have
fits the
to,
character.
yeah, you
He
have to
fits the
let go.
profile.
You have to let go of the actors and appreciate the character.
Yeah,
And
that's what I had to do. For like a minute, I'm like, and then I'm like, well, that is the character though. He's super fucking weird. But no, it's great. It completely blew away the records that Stranger Things season 4 set. So it's almost like a guarantee there's another season coming. They do kind of leave it open that there could be another season. No spoilers or anything, but definitely looks like we're gonna get more Jenna Ortega's Wednesday, and I'm all for
yes,
it.
please. Um, so I think I've mentioned this before, but when it comes to television and movie stuff right now, I'm kind of
Hmm.
in like a kind of like a hiatus on new stuff because one of the things that Heather and I like to do is we'll watch different TV shows together, we'll watch different movies together, and we don't watch them without each other, especially if it's ones that both of us are going to really enjoy. Like Wednesday is going to be one of those shows, and like I
Yeah.
haven't even watched the Andor series on Disney Plus yet, and I haven't
Oh,
watched.
I haven't watched that yet either.
It's really good. I mean, everybody that I've talked to, it's really good. It fits that kind of semi dark political niche that Star Wars always was. Like that's people that "Oh, I can't believe they're bringing politics into Star Wars." That's the way it's always fucking been. It was the original Star Wars was a commentary on Nazism and fascism. Um, but anyway, I've just kind of not been watching new stuff that I know that Heather would enjoy too, because
Yeah.
this is Hell Week for her. This is her finals week before winter break.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So
so there
you're
were
taking a break too.
yeah. So
Good thing we got DMZ.
yeah, exactly. So she's been in her especially the last probably 6 weeks. She's been incredibly busy doing doing stuff for school. So I just haven't been watching anything that I know she would want to watch, because I would just feel bad. Like
Makes sense.
here I am downstairs playing video games. Like last night, for example, or I'm sorry, not last night. Friday night, for example. Um, I think I stopped playing Friday night around like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna go on to bed. And I come upstairs and Heather's in her office working on her finals project. I'm like,
Still,
oh,
yeah.
you're still up. I'm like, oh fuck. Um, so I don't watch a lot of the new stuff, and everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you've not watched this
Yeah.
yet. Well, that's why. Um,
Well, your cream of the week doesn't have to be a show.
well,
It can
well,
always be like the new burger at Burger King,
well,
or
no,
it can
no, I
be
totally get that.
it can be you're totally on board with what Kanye said. Whatever.
no, but I am going to say my cream of the week because I spent this week watching it. I've got one episode left to watch, and it's extremely dated, but it's not extremely dated. I got to watching Band of Brothers, the HBO show.
Oh, I fucking love it. I've seen that
I
so many times.
I've never watched it before, and
Oh,
I'm actually really glad that I've not watched it before I played Hell Let Loose, because all of the maps in Hell Let Loose are historically accurate maps of the locations from Band of Brothers. Like
oh yeah,
I don't think it's meant to be that, but
but they are.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
the Carentan map where you're in the city or in the village, the Foy map. I mean, all these different maps are specifically referenced in the show. That's where they're going, and this is what they're doing, and it's really wild having played those maps and seen what it looks like in the game, and then seeing them as they were were in the show. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I really like this. This is really cool. And that's one of the things that really drew me into watching it more was I don't want to say relate because that's a bad way of putting it, but it playing these games gave me even better context
yeah.
for the show. And I really
Extra layer of
yeah,
recognition,
yeah, I
kind of.
really liked it. I've got one episode left.
I
Uh,
think I can't remember if it's at the end of the last episode or maybe it's at the end of every episode where they do like the interviews of
it's
the
the beginning.
actual people.
Yeah, it's the beginning of each episode. They're interviewing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and
I love that part
I,
too.
I really when I first started watching it, the first episode, and they were doing this interview of these old guys, and I'm like, did
Yeah,
I?
get out of here.
Well, no, it's just like, am I watching the right show? Like, is
Oh,
it,
you clicked the wrong one.
yeah, yeah, it's like this isn't But then I realized that what it was is they were using the actual veterans that served in that unit, and having them tell the story helps give a really good context to each episode. A couple, I think it's episode 6 or 7, where they're in
Yeah,
Bastogne, which they were in Bastogne, which was a place in France that they were there through the winter of 1944, and it was there's no way to describe how cold that area was. They had problems with frostbite was rampant, and if you were shot, your blood would freeze, almost immediately. It was so cold, and they did an interview. They were interviewing one of the guys, and he said that you can ask my wife even to this day if it's ever cold outside, I will always say, well, at least it's not Bastogne. And and it was just that kind of a cool context of like, okay, he remembers it of being just shitty, miserable cold,
yeah,
and then we're going to show you the episode, and it's going to show you why he feels that way. And there was one actor or one soldier in the show that they had serious issues with supplies on this particular front that they were defending in Bastogne. So they were missing. They didn't have good winter jackets. They didn't have enough blankets. They didn't have enough socks. And there was one guy that had taken a blanket and tied it around his feet to make shoes because he didn't have any boots. He had worn his boots to the point where they were falling apart. So he made boots out of this blanket, and he ended up with frostbite. And of course, that was a whole thing. But like that's how bad it was. That's what they had to
yeah.
endure. Um, and I just found that really really fascinating, and um, I like the characters. I like the development that they go through. The soldiers that do and don't make it, and um, in watching it now, there are so many actors in that show that, like I told Heather, you recognize them, you know them, you've seen them in movies. You could probably even name the movie you've seen them in. You can't remember their names. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I know
No,
him.
so many recognizable faces.
Yeah,
You're like, I've seen
yeah.
him.
Like I know he was in this show, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then then you have to like Google who it is. Like, oh yeah, yeah. Um,
I can't remember. There's just the one season, right? The 10
yeah, it
episodes.
was just a 10 episode miniseries.
Yeah,
Um,
it was so good.
yeah,
I think I've watched it all the way through like 3 times, maybe.
Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. Um,
Is it
it's on
on
HB.
Prime or what's it
It's
on?
on HBO. So
Oh,
yeah, you
okay.
got to have HBO Max or some way of
Yeah,
accessing HBO. Um,
yeah. HBO Max or Torrent Max or whatever you got.
exactly. However you want to however you want to justify it. But I think that's my cream of the week because it's the only thing that I've really been watching this week that isn't the same stuff I always watch because it just passes the time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if I'm down here working on something, if I'm working on the chainmail or something, I'll have like Family Guy going in the background, or I'll have Archer going in the background. Shows I've seen
Yeah, 100 times.
hundreds and hundreds of times, and it's just
Just for good background
white
noise.
noise. That's all it
Yeah,
really is.
I
So
do that a lot.
yeah, so having this to watch was actually really nice, because she's not interested in war movies. She's the typical woman. She doesn't care about stuff like that, which is
Band of
fine.
Brothers is a documentary.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's not a war movie.
well, it still. I mean, it still is. I mean, you've still got.
It's kind of along that same
Yeah.
line,
I
though.
mean,
But
you're still seeing blood, guts, and gore, which she doesn't
yeah,
have any interest in watching. So I can watch that by myself and be fine. Um,
okay.
but yeah, I think that's my cream of the week.
That's a good one. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be from this century or anything.
Yeah, it was like 2000, 2002, 2003 when that show came out. So I mean,
2001.
okay,
I just looked
2001.
it up because I wanted to look something up. Yeah, 2001. So
Yeah, so
11 years ago. 12, almost 12
yeah,
years ago.
12 years ago. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
that's a good one.
yeah, so I
Well,
guess
I
so.
think that's a good episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, we're shit on Halo again. We always say we're not going to talk about it, and we're just so disappointed. Is all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having fun shitting on it. I'm somehow in my mind I'm hoping that by us explaining it, 343 will hear this and go, "Why didn't it hit us? They want the game to be fun." And then they'll fix it and make it fun. But who knows what the future of Halo looks like? We do have, it's that time of the year, so next episode will 1000% be about the Game Awards, which are on Thursday.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah.
So go to thegameawards.com. There are 31 categories this year to be voted on. I have not, just looking at the game of the year, I haven't played a single one of those. So I'm going to have to research into them a little bit, try and decide who I want to vote for because I want to vote on these. And then I'm definitely going to watch the Game Awards on Thursday. But yeah, that'll be our discussion next week. So
You'll have to give me the. Well, I might try to get to it next weekend, but I have D&D on Thursday, Wednesday and
oh
Thursday. So
yeah, I'll
yeah.
have to let you know what's good or not. I would say a majority of these games are being voted on just because it's been kind of a dry spell. Uh, like it's so dry that we're playing Call of Duty.
Not wrong.
I I haven't played a ton of new games, so a lot of these new ones and stuff that are being voted on, I won't know a ton about, so I'm gonna have to research and look into it. And maybe I won't even vote on these. The cool thing is you don't even have to vote on every category. You can just pick and choose.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's an episode.
it's definitely episode 87, I
Yeah.
think.
Episode 87. 13 weeks away. We're getting close.
Getting 13. Yeah, that match checks out. I don't know why it sounded wrong at first.
Yeah.
Must be tired. Somebody, I don't know why I was up so late last night. I can't remember,
Oh
but
my god.
yeah. Anyway, thanks to Rabble and Real Mystery for stopping by the stream,
Mm-hmm.
interacting with us. We love
Uh,
it.
Hang on.
Uh,
Shout out to Dominant Jordan 1 for the follow. Uh,
that's he's one of the drunken Halo people.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Or Dominant Justin? Did I say Dominant Jordan? I think it was Dominant Jordan.
It's dominant Jordan.
Yeah,
And
Dominant
if it's
Jordan 1.
dominant Justin, yeah, if it's dominant Justin, then it's not one of the drunken Halo people.
We'll see. But yeah, thanks. Yeah, that follow popped up right before we started recording, so I want to give a shout out for that. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so, all right.
Yeah, so don't forget to tune in live or just download it when it hits iTunes or Podcast Addict or
Spotify is what I
Spotify
use.
or whatever you use for it, whatever. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one and keep IQ.
Bye, Oreo.